The goddess within me ignites the flame of love and light of life.
Pray for peace. Pray for love. Pray for stability. Pray for the nation where you live. Pray for the world. This is an open invitation for all to join me today as we journey around the world to pray for peace. Only here at Peace Prayer Journey.
The God before me radiates the light of peace for all to see.
Good Monday everyone, this is Adman and welcome to the 37th episode of Peace Prayer Journey. Today is November 30, 2015, the last Monday of the month, and we are about to pray for peace to the Republic of Panama, which is the last country we are about to pray in Central America. So in the news, Panama and Israel signed free trade agreement, Latin American nation's first FTA with a Middle Eastern nation focuses on innovation and technology, as reported by JTA at timesofisrael.com on November 23, 2015. Panama signed a free trade agreement with Israel, its first with Middle Eastern nation. The agreement was signed on Saturday in Panama City to seal a set of negotiated deals including access to markets, customs services and investment, intellectual property, trade obstacles, institutional issues, and conflict resolution. This is our very first agreement with a Middle Eastern partner, and hence it represents important opportunities to Panamanian exporters and businessmen. It has a vast coverage of goods, services, and investment, said Meliton Arocha, Panama's Minister of Trade and Industries. A special chapter of the agreement also intends to boost the capabilities and competitiveness of Central American nations' small and medium-sized companies in innovation and technology transfer fields, he added. The agreement is expected to serve as another springboard for Israel's service providers, especially in software, communication, information security, engineering, and R&D, thus expanding the potential of these and related markets, Israel's Ministry of Economy spokesman said in May. The negotiations are part of efforts by Israel to expand its exports to new markets and strengthen relations with Latin American countries. Israel export to Panama in 2014 stood $25 million in imports from Panama at $3 million, according to the Israel Ministry of Economy. On the other news from Panama City News Herald, Panama City looks to reduce marina fees of $300,000 in legal charges discussed. The Panama City Commission is exploring ways to reduce legal and consulting fees surrounding the ongoing Panama City Marina Redevelopment Project, which have reached nearly $300,000 over the last 15 months. The Panama City Commission is exploring ways to reduce legal and consulting fees surrounding the ongoing Panama City Marina Redevelopment Project, which have reached nearly $300,000 over the last 15 months. We've been in this endeavor for 15 months and we're up to $300,000, said Commissioner John Cady, who presented a list of charges to board members at a meeting on Tuesday. Of those charges, about $215,000 were for legal fees surrounding the project, with the largest chunk, about $111,000 going to Burke Blue Hutchison Walters, the firm of city attorney Nevin Zimmerman, who also receives $20,000 per month retainer. Other legal charges include $94,000 to the firm Harrison Sale McCloy for attorney Doug Sale to serve as a special counsel for the project, and roughly $9,000 charge to firm Neighbors Giblin and Nickerson, according to information provided by the city staff. The remainder of the charges outlined in Cady's document, about $82,000, represent dollars paid out to land use in real estate consultants since last summer. We have spent a lot of money, said Panama City Mayor Greg Nikki, who agreed the city needs to reevaluate its direction moving forward. We've had enough research and development for the last 15 months. We need to put a lid on it and control it. Moving forward, Brudnicki suggested allowing city manager Jeff Brown to manage the fees using a monthly budget set aside specifically for the marina project. Kadia's suggestion to better control costs include exploring options for in-house legal counsel, for which he directed staff to conduct an analysis on the cost of having an in-house attorney as opposed to a retainer. We revisit this about every year, Kadia said, citing the city's annual target for legal fees at about $250,000. We're about twice that. Additionally, Kadia suggested developing a more task-based contract with the city's land use consultant, as well as revisiting the scope of work with law firm Harrison Sale McCloy. He said the efforts are not a reflection of the consultant's work, but rather a way to step back and look at ways to better manage the project. During the meeting, the Commission directed KD to work alongside city staff to compile a list of potential changes. The board will review the full scope of suggestions at its next meeting on December 15. Also, during Tuesday's meeting, the Commission approved a resolution to begin the process to vacate an alley at the northeast corner of the intersection of U.S. Business 98 and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. The majority of the property on the block, excluding the Subway restaurant, is owned by Bay Medical Center Sacred Heart Health System. The hospital is seeking the vacation to construct a parking garage on the site. However, before the vacation can be complete, Bay Medical will need to relocate a series of public and private utility lines in the alley. The Commission must conduct 2 ordinances reading and a public hearing before considering approval. In other business Tuesday, the Commission approved a request from Susan Fuller of Catton's Lady Streetcar Cafe to operate a mobile food truck at the city-owned parcel at 101 Beach Drive once a week. Conducted the first reading in an ordinance to change the zoning designation at 402E 10th Street from residential to general commercial to allow the owner to operate a beauty salon at the property. The City Planning Board recommended the Commission deny the request, relaying that the change is not compatible with the surrounding land use. The Commission will conduct a second reading and public hearing on the request at its next meeting on December 15. And on another news, the potential impact of Panama Canal expansion on Union Pacific, as reported by the Travis team of Forbes.com on November 23, 2015. The shipment of intermodal freight is an important business segment for Union Pacific, accounting for around 20% of the company's freight revenues. Union Pacific UNP intermodal shipment consists of import and export container traffic and domestic container and trailer traffic. Containers are generally transported between ports and the ultimate destinations or source of the shipment by either rail or truck. As Union Pacific Rail network is concentrated west of Mississippi River, the company's international container traffic mostly pertains to West Coast port. Therefore, the growth in Union Pacific intermodal shipment is strongly correlated with the growth in container traffic at West Coast port. Though container traffic is expected to grow on the West Coast, the ongoing expansion of the Panama Canal could hamper this growth by shifting some traffic to the East Coast. In this article, we will take a look at the potential impact of the completion of the expansion of Panama Canal on Union Pacific intermodal shipments. Potential impact of Panama Canal expansion on Union Pacific. The Panama Canal links the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean and also provides a shipping route linking west and east coast of the U.S. The Panama Canal, as its narrowest point, is roughly 110 feet wide, which is too narrow to allow for the passage of large container ships. As a consequence of the bottleneck presented by the Panama Canal, some cargo meant for the eastern half of the U.S. is delivered to West Coast ports and transported by either rail or truck to markets on the East Coast. A project to expand the Panama Canal commenced in 2007. This expansion aims to widen and deepen the waterway to allow large oil tankers and container ships to pass through. The project has been beset by cost and time overruns. As of now, the project is tentatively scheduled for completion in 2016, though the specification of an exact date is difficult. The completion of this expansion project should enable the movement of a large container ship from Asia to East Coast port. Sea transport is generally much cheaper compared to rail transport, though it takes more time than rail transport. With the expansion of the Panama Canal, a direct route for the transport of container traffic by sea from Asia to the East Coast will reduce transportation costs and result in the diversion of some container traffic from West Coast to the East Coast. The Boston Consulting Group and Logistics Company, C.H. Robinson Worldwide, estimated that around 10% of the cargo moving from Asia to the U.S. could shift to the East Coast. Such a diversion of container traffic will negatively impact the growth in Union Pacific intermodal shipments. There is one power in the universe, and we are the perfect manifestation of that power. And for as such, we pray for peace. We pray for peace. We pray for love. We pray for stability. And we pray that all the people in the world to embrace peace. Peace that promotes justice. Justice that follows discipline and orderliness. Discipline and orderliness as a result of understanding. Understanding as a product of knowledge. And knowledge as a fruit from the seed of love. We pray to you, O Divine Supreme Creator, to bless us, your children, with courage. A courage that makes love and peace to overcome all form of evil, fear, hatred, terror, violence, warfare, and worries throughout the world. May all the people around the world be blessed with peace. May all the inhabitants of the earth enjoy the blessings of love as we create and manifest it by our unified will. In full gratitude to the Divine, we accept and receive it. And it is so, so mote it be. Mayari na, pag-asatin. So, what is Panama and where it is? Panama is a country on the isthmus linking Central and South America. The man-made Panama Canal cuts through its center, linking the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean to create an essential shipping route. In the capital, Panama City, modern skyscrapers, casinos, and nightclubs contrast with colonial buildings in the Casco Viejo district and the rainforest of Natural Metropolitan Park. Panama is officially called Republic of Panama is a country in Central America situated between North and South America. It is bordered by Costa Rica to the west, Colombia to the southeast, the Caribbean to the north, and the Pacific Ocean to the south. The capital and the largest city is Panama City, whose metro area is home to nearly half of the country's 4.1 million people. Panama was inhabited by several indigenous tribes prior to settlement by the Spanish in the 16th century. Panama broke away from Spain in 1821 and joined a union of Nueva Granada, Ecuador, and Venezuela named the Republic of Gran Colombia. When Gran Colombia dissolved in 1831, Panama and Nueva Granada remained joined, eventually becoming the Republic of Colombia. With the backing of the United States, Panama ceded from Colombia in 1903, allowing the Panama Canal to be built by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers between 1904 and 1914. In 1977, an agreement was signed for the total transfer of the canal from United States to Panama by the end of 20th century, which culminated on the 31st of December of 1999. Revenue from the canal tolls continues to represent a significant portion of Panama's GDP, although commerce, banking, and tourism are major and growing sectors. Panama has the second largest economy in Central America and is also the fastest growing economy and largest per capita consumer in Central America. In 2013, Panama ranked 5th among Latin American countries in terms of the Human Development Index, and 59th in the world. Since 2010, Panama remains the second most competitive economy in Latin America, according to the World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Index. Covering around 40% of its land area, Panama's jungles are home to an abundance of tropical plants and animals, some of them to be found nowhere else on this planet. There are several theories about the origin of the name Panama. Some believe that the country was named after a commonly found species of trees. Others believe that the first settlers arrived in Panama in August when butterflies abound, and that the name means many butterflies in an indigenous language. The best known version is that fishing village and its nearby beach bore the name Panama, which meant an abundance of fish. Captain Antonio Tello de Guzman, while exploring the Pacific side in 1515, stopped in a small indigenous fishing town. This was communicated to the crown in 1517, Don Gaspar de Espinosa, a Spanish lieutenant, decided to settle a post there. In 1519, Pedrarias de Villa decided to establish the Empire's Pacific City in this site. The new settlement replaced Santa Maria la Antigua del Darien, which had lost its function within the Crown's global plan after the beginning of the Spanish exploitation of the riches in the Pacific. Blending all above together, Panamanians believe in general that the word Panama means abundance of fish, trees, and butterflies. This is the official definition given in social studies textbooks approved by the Ministry of Education in Panama. However, others believe the word Panama comes from the Kuna word Banaba, which means distant or far away. So what do we need to know about Panama? So here is the fact that we need to know about Panama. Panama is the only place in the world where you can see the sun rise in the Pacific and set on the Atlantic. The canal generates fully 1/3 of Panama's entire economy. A man, a plan, a canal, Panama is a palindrome. Panama was the first Latin American country to adopt the U.S. currency as its own. The population of Panama in 2003 was estimated by the United Nations at 3,120,000, which placed it as number 129 in population among the 193 nations of the world and the smallest population in Central America. The cargo ship Ancon was the first vessel to transit the canal on August 15, 1914. The lowest paid toll was 0.36 cent or $0.36 and was paid by Richard Halliburton, who crossed the canal swimming in 1928. 7 out of 10 Panamanians haven't heard of the song Panama by Van Halen. Senator John McCain was born in Panama in the canal zone that was at that time considered U.S. territory. The Panama hat is really made in Ecuador. In Panama, you can swim in the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific in the same day. The oldest continually operating railroad is Panama. It travels from Panama City to Colon and back. Panama City is the only capital city that has rainforest within the city limit. This information comes from www.barefootpanama.com. Now, let us get to know about Panama's root history. At the time of the arrival of Spanish in the 16th century, the known inhabitants of Panama included the Cuevas and the Coquille tribe. These people have nearly disappeared as they had no immunity from European infectious disease. The Isthmus of Panama was formed about 3 million years ago when the land bridge between North and South America finally closed, after which plants and animals gradually crossed it in both directions. The existence of the isthmus had an impact on the dispersal of people, agriculture, and technology throughout the American continent, from the appearance of the first hunters and collectors up to the era of villages in the city. The earliest artifacts discovered of indigenous people in Panama have included Paleo-Indian projectile points. Later, Central Panama was home to some of the first pottery making in the Americas, such as the Monogrillo cultures dating about 25,000 to 17,000 BC. These evolved into significant populations that are best known through the spectacular burial dating to circa 500 to 900 AD at the Monogrillo archaeological site, and the beautiful polychrome pottery of the Grand Coquille style. The monumental monolithic sculpture at the Bariles or Cherokee site are the other important evidence of the ancient Isthmian culture. Prior to the arrival of Europeans, Panama was widely settled by Chibchan, Chocoan, and Cueva peoples, among whom the largest group were the Cueva, whose specific language affiliation is poorly documented. There is no accurate knowledge of the size of the indigenous population of the Isthmus at the time of European conquest. Estimates range as high as 2 million people, but more recent studies place that number closer to 200,000. Archaeological finds as well as testimonials by early Europeans explorers describe diverse native Isthmian groups exhibiting cultural variety and suggesting people already conditioned by regular regional routes of commerce. When Panama was colonized, indigenous people fled into the forest and nearby island. Scholars believe that among the various contributing factors, infectious disease was the main cause of the population decline in the American natives. The indigenous people had no acquired immunity to such diseases, which had been chronic in the Eurasian population for centuries. Panama became an autonomous nation because of its function as the custodian of the trans-isthmus shipping route, the path between the seas. It gained independence in 1903 as part of the American-sponsored revolt against Colombia that led to the signing of a treaty granting the United States the right to build the Panama Canal. The Spanish discovered and conquered Panama between 1502 and 1519. At that time, it was referred to as Castilla de Oro, a source of gold and potential converts. From 1519 through 1538, the area that is now Panama was base for soldiers sent to conquer the Andean civilization in South America. After 1538, it was used as land route to Spain's South American colonies and a transshipment point from Andean gold. From 1568 to 1671, there was a series of pirate raids. And in 1671, Panama City was sacked by buccaneers under the command of Sir Henry Morgan. Local traders engaged in smuggling until Spain shifted the official gold route to Cape Horn, and the area entered a period of commercial decline. After independence from Spain and union with Colombia in 1821, the Isthmus again became an important transit route. Slavery was abolished in 1852. The United States completed a railroad across the area in 1855 to expedite movement to the gold fields in California. After failing to build a sea-level canal in 1880s, the French sold their concession to the United States, which conspired with the elite in Panama City to declare independence when they could not obtain a favorable treaty from Colombia. From 1903 to 1978, the United States controlled the Canal Zone, a 5-mile strip on both sides of the canal. Residents of that area were called Zonians and remained American citizens even after 3 generations of residents. These mostly white employees of the canal company lived an isolated life and were prejudiced against the Panamanian population. In 1977, after lengthy negotiations, President Jimmy Carter signed a treaty that abolished the Canal Zone as a colonial enclave, arranged for Panamanian ownership of the canal in the year 2000, and provided for the closing of American military bases. In 1925, the United States intervened in a revolt by Kuna Indians on the northeast Atlantic coast and established a tribal reserve. The Kuna enclave has been successful. In the 1930s, the United States military hired Kuna laborers to work at army bases. After the transfer of sovereignty over the canal, those workers migrated to Panama City. Panamanians do not consider themselves former Colombians. From 1578 to 1751, Panama was the seat of Spanish Real Audiencia Court Chancery with Spanish lawyers and governors or Captain General. The presence of this judicial, legislative, executive government body led to the building of a sense of independent nationhood. Unlike the former Canal Zone, the government has always repudiated racism and segregation. Because of its nationalistic policies, the government also forbade the use of English in public schools, thus discriminating against the black population. And this is all the information we have for the Republic of Panama, which we obtained from Wikipedia and everyculture.com. So please stay tuned and I will be right back after a short break. You are listening to Peace Prayer Journey with Apo Adman Agama. at International Pagan Radio. Peace Prayer Journey is an outreach ministry of Lumpiang Agama Natural Divine Art Shrine of Healing that is dedicated to pray for world peace and by bringing you information and understanding about the history, culture, and tradition of each country we are about to journey. Peace Prayer Journey is a proud member of Peace Prayer Interfaith Ministry, Sacerdotal Order of Lumpiang Agama, Correllian Methodist Tradition, the Order of Peace Weavers, and of the Voices on the Crystal Wind. I hope that you enjoy listening to our show. Blessed be peace.
And welcome back. Today we have brought up information of current events, history, culture, and tradition of the Republic of Panama. And in our news segment, we have learned that there is a project for Panama Canal expansion. So why Panama Canal is important? As we search for an answer, we find from cotf.edu that says not only is the Panama Canal important to Panama for income and jobs, but it is also considered to be vitally important to the United States economy and maybe probably throughout the world. Many U.S. exports and imports travel through the canal daily. Over 10% of all U.S. shipping goes through the canal. Export represents jobs for U.S. citizens because the products were made by U.S. workers. Imports enable U.S. consumers to receive needed products. Since the United States is the only superpower in the world, the United States is interested in keeping the global economy running smoothly. If world trade is disrupted, it can lead to worldwide economic problems. Therefore, any disruption in the flow of goods through Panama Canal could directly hurt the U.S. and the global economies. For instance, if England were selling products to Peru, England's economy would suffer if the canal were not operating. Without access to the canal, the cost of exports from England to Peru would significantly increase because England would have to regain the added expenses involved in sailing around South America. Because of increased prices, Peru could not afford to purchase as many products from England, which in turn would decrease England's revenue gain from exports. Decreased revenue means that England will have less money available to purchase products from the United States and other countries. A domino effect would be set in motion as the United States and other countries experience similar problems with their exports and imports. This example illustrates the economic importance that Panama Canal has to the U.S. and global economies. If one considers the thousands of ships full of goods that pass through the canal every year and the impact that closing the canal would have on the world economy, one can understand the economic importance of the canal. Therefore, keeping the canal open is directly and indirectly important to the United States and to the global economy. So here I think of the Panama Canal importance to the world as a bridge of transportation from east to west or vice versa. As a peace weavers, world peace is possible if we ourselves will become like a channel, or a canal or a pathway to peace for other beings, not only to humans but also to everyone. Since our world is divided by boundaries of religion, nationalities, tribes, ethnicity, and culture, as human beings, we must find ways to connect ourselves from one another through communication, thus fostering understanding and harmony among us. Setting aside our differences from other people will make a bridge to foster understanding to them by reaching out to them through knowledge or through knowing them. The effort of expanding the Panama Canal means improvement to marine transportation and business. It means the whole world can connect from one another. And expanding ourselves to be a channel of peace also means improvement to our harmonious living, a peaceful life. So with all of this said, may I invite you to pray.
Luwalhati at parangal.
We call upon God, the God who created the heavens and the earth, the God who made the stars, moons, planets, worlds, and the universe. We call upon you, God, who is called by many names, but only one God.
To you who has 1,000 and even a million manifestation to every beings who call, love, and worship you, we pray. We pray to you, God, who gave life and form to every being, seen and unseen, to create in us once more a new life and a new form, like you have created in us before. But this time, we ask you to create in us a new life, a life that is out of hatred, a life that is out of fear, a life that is out of envy, jealousy, pride, and all the host of negativity that makes every being suffer. We ask you, God, to create in us a new life, a life full of love, joy, peace, hope, and goodwill. We ask you to create in us a worthy vessel of your loving mercy to the world, a channel of blessing to all your creation, seen and unseen. We ask you to make us a channel of love, joy, peace, hope, and goodwill. Make us a blessing to everyone who seek you. Radiate your power upon us, that through us may people see a glimpse of your glory. May we always be in perfect communion and harmony with you and to all beings. In love and in light, so mote it be. Blessed be peace.
Sa hanggan ng pagdiriwang tayo ay lilisan, bit-bit ay kapayapaan sa ating tahanan.
Thank you for joining me here at this prayer journey. I hope that you will join me again next week as we continue to journey around the world in praying for peace. Only here at International Pagan Radio, where we are all pagans all the time. May you all, blessed be peace. Mayari na pag-asatin.
Papuri at parangal sa diwatang nasa atin.